Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to Mobility Monday class. Hello, hello. We will get started in about 1 minute. Just make sure you guys have your space set to go. You really don't need much, but if you do want a towel or a stretching strap for tonight's class, that might be good. I have my towel here just for comfort and for some of the stretches to help you get into them. So if you don't have that yet, go ahead and grab your strap or just a rolled up towel like this, and we will get started in about 30 seconds. Hope everybody's enjoying their day today. Hope everything's going well for you guys. We're going to get really relaxed and stretched out tonight. Have some good ones for you. We're going to do a lot of breathing. So I'm excited. All righty. So let's begin, friends. Let's take ourselves to our mat or our carpet, wherever you have yourself set up. Let me just get my angle right. There we go. And tonight, let's lay on our backs to get our breathing set up. So I'm going to make my way to my mat. And as you bring yourself down, let's get into a comfortable position. So whatever that might be for you, either knees up, feet flat, or you can lay with your legs flat out, whatever is comfortable for you. Remember that you can also prop your legs up on a couch or something like that. A lot of times that is helpful for low back and just to take the pressure off of the legs and the low back. But wherever you at is fine. And I want to start tapping into that breathing. So let's go ahead and close our eyes and just bring your intention to your breath right now. Nice big breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And not judging or being critical of yourself at all, but just making sure that you're taking those breaths in and bringing your intention and your focus to your body and just seeing where you might feel tight or what feels achy, what feels like it needs a little extra love tonight. So just go internal, bring your thoughts to your body, and as you breathe, do a body scan. See where you might be holding tension. Maybe you're squeezing, you're holding your legs or your jaw or your shoulders, wherever that might be. Try to let it go. Try to bring your awareness to that area. Maybe you're gripping. Maybe you need to just relax those hands. Turn them facing up. Palms out. Big breaths. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. As you're breathing, also notice, is your belly rising? Are you allowing your diaphragm to expand up and out? If you're not, don't judge yourself for it, but let's see if you can let that diaphragm go. Let that diaphragm and those abs relax a little bit. We're so tightly wound and so used to pulling in here. So let's practice for the next couple breaths, letting the belly expand, letting go of that area, and then exhaling down and letting it fall and sink. With every breath, try to let your body melt into the floor a bit more and feel the floor against the back of your head, a bit against your upper back and your tailbone and your legs. And know that you are supported by that floor. So it's okay to let go. It's okay to let everything melt and relax because the floor is going to hold you up. So any of that tension or that fear or that stress or that anxiety, you can let it go. Let it melt onto the floor. Take a couple more breaths. And as you're breathing here, I want to try a little exercise with you guys. And it's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique or breathing exercise. And you may have heard of it. You may have done it before. But this is a really good technique for overall relaxation, getting your body to relax. But if you practice it very continuously, a couple times a day, it's a really good tool to help be a healthier person, help with anxiety, help with lowering blood pressure, helping to get to sleep easier. So we're going to practice it today. I'm going to show you how to do it, and it's very easy. It's very quick. It doesn't take a lot of effort. What we're going to do, and you guys keep breathing as I'm talking, we're going to take a breath in to the count of 4. Then we're going to hold our breath to the count of 7. And then we're going to be exhaling, forcibly exhaling through pursed lips for a count of 8. So before we do this, I'm going to count with you guys, but before you take your 4-second inhale through the nose, I want to make sure you get all of your air out. So what you're going to do is breathe out, and then we're going to take that inhale through the nose for 4, hold for the count of 7, and I will be counting for you. And as we exhale, we want to make a whooshing sound with the breath coming out of pursed lips. We're going to do the 4 cycles, so 4 times through. I'll count with you as you do it, and this should really, really help you. You can practice this every day. So here we go. Let's get all of our air out. So take that last exhalation out, and we're going to go ahead and breathe in. 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. And then just breathe normally. So we did a couple extra breaths there, but I wanted you to get the practice in. And if you do that for a cycle of 4, 2 times a day, very consistently, you will notice some very, very good benefits. So it's just a really good way to train your breathing and do a little breathing exercise to help your body relax. It's very effective for anxiety, and helping you fall asleep at night. So try to do that 2 times a day, and we'll do it a second time tonight for the next 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, and see how that feels and how it benefits you. So now that we've done our breathing, I want to just bring your feet up to the floor. If you haven't had them on the floor already, you can open your eyes. You can start breathing normally, but still taking nice, conscious, and aware breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Hug your knees in towards your chest. You can keep them a little bit away, or you can hug them all the way in, but just be gentle. You don't have to force the hug. And we're just going to rock back and forth just to get our low back a little bit warmed up. And then I want to do a little bit of pelvic tilting. So what we're going to do is, after we do a little bit of rocking, we're going to lower our feet back down to the floor. And we're going to just do a gentle pelvic tilt. And what that does is brings your awareness to how your pelvis can move, and also can really be helpful for the low back. So go ahead and bring your feet down to the floor. And pelvic tilting, you guys know this already, but we want to do reps. So we're going to tilt our pelvis forward so that there's that little space underneath our low back. I can put my hand underneath it. And then we're going to exhale or inhale. With this, we're just really making sure we're breathing and flatten out that space into the floor. So our low back is flat to the floor. And then we're just going to go through reps of that where we're tilting. And let's put our arms up, elbows bent, maybe above our head as we do this. Out to the side. We're going to tilt the pelvis forward, spaces underneath our back, and then relax and rotate and push the low back into the floor. Not a forcible push, but just flattening it into the ground. And let's do that a couple times with our breath. So inhaling, and then exhaling, tilt. Inhaling, rotate the pelvis forward, tilt the pelvis forward, exhaling. And it doesn't really matter if you're exhaling when you flatten your back or exhaling when you're arching your back. It doesn't really matter which order you do it in, as long as you're breathing. Couple reps like that, not overdoing it, just feeling that tilt and the way your back can move. And then we're going to be pulling our knees back into our chest. So do one more rep or finish up that last rep. Pull your knees back in. Rock and roll. And then we're going to actually roll over to our front side. So we're going to, just starting nice and gentle tonight, roll to our right or left side, and then roll onto your front on your mat. Try not to roll off your mat like I just did. Very graceful. We're going to take a breath in. Keep your chest on the floor for now, but bring your elbows and your forearms next to you. And then as you exhale, I want you to rise up into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose is just on the elbows. Forearms and palms are flat. And then we're just going to breathe here. And I want you to try to lift your chest away from the floor. We're not popping up onto our hands yet, but I want you to slowly start to move your vertebrae and lift your chin. And maybe you can even look up to the ceiling. So we're just moving our vertebrae as much as we can. And taking nice big breaths, and you can bring the chin down, take a break, and then maybe push the ground away again, lift the chest, lift the chin, maybe look up a little further, breathe out, and then bring your chin down, maybe back to more of a neutral neck. I want you to look to the left, try to look behind your back. Push into your right elbow. And you're going to feel a nice little stretch along the side of your neck. Breathing, bring your head back to center. We're going to do the same thing to the right. So turning your head, your chin to the right. And then we're going to push the left elbow into the ground. Try to look behind you as you breathe. And then bring it back to center. And then we're going to lower the chest to the ground and do a couple prone press-ups. So we're going to bring our hands next to our chest. Make sure you have your feet on the floor for this, toes on the floor, but relaxed. So the tops of the feet are on the ground. And we're just going to push the ground away for a count of 4. So we're just going to breathe. And if lifting up this high bothers you, just stay in the Sphinx pose. But pushing the ground away, lifting the chin, the chest, exhaling, and then bringing it back down. Inhale. Exhale, push the ground away. Make sure your shoulders stay out of your ears. And lower yourself down nice and slow. And then exhale, push the ground away. Maybe lifting your chin a little bit more. And then lower back down. Do one more. And the last one, I'm going to have you look over your right and left shoulder. So exhaling, push up. Maybe turn and look. Very gentle. If this bothers you, just come a little bit lower. Stay lower. And then turning and looking the other side. And then coming back to the middle. And then lowering yourself back down. Nice. Then we're going to push ourselves up. Big breath in. Exhale. Push ourselves up to just the quad stretch. So we're going to go ahead and do cat-cow. And just a little bit more pelvic tilting. And then we're going to do a little bit something different that we haven't done before. We're going to push the ground away. Roll the upper back. And then look forward and arch. And then look down. Roll up. Push the ground away. Exhale. Arch the back. Drop the belly. Lift the chin if you can. And then push the ground away, roll up. Last one. And then exhale, arch. Good. Come back to neutral back. I want to lower back down to our bellies and do a quick quad stretch that we have not done before. So we're going to go back down to our bellies. Lower yourself slowly. Bring your hands underneath you so that just like you're laying on the beach and you're going to put your head on your hands or your arms, just in front of you to support. And then we're going to take one at a time. We're going to take one leg, bend it backwards. So I'm going to take my right leg, keep my left hand on the ground, but I'm going to swing my right hand around and grab onto my right ankle or foot. And then I'm going to rest my head on my left hand. And just nice and easy and gentle pulling back on that foot. So I'm just taking a little quad stretch here. Now, if you can't reach your foot like this or you can't reach your ankle, taking your towel here, and it's a little bit like a toughie, but you got to lasso that foot. Ooh, can I do it? Yes, I can. So you may want to get into this before you roll onto your belly, and that's okay if you have to maneuver a little bit. And then we're just going to pull it over our shoulder like this. Okay, so either way you have to do it. Try to relax your shoulders and just take a nice big breath in and out. And enjoy that stretch for the quads. We have not been doing enough quad stretching, at least as far as I can tell. So quads get really super tight from all the activity that we do. And so we need to stretch those guys out. So I want to have you guys do a little PNF here if you can. If you're okay with your shoulders like this, you can actually change your grip as well if you want to come like this, okay? Just depends on how tight you are. You might be back here. That's okay. And what I want to do is some gentle kicking into the towel or into your hands. So you're going to rest your head, nice big breath, and you're going to kick out against that towel. So I am kicking against the resistance of my own strength, my upper body strength. Kick, 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 kick. And then I'm just going to relax it and pull in again. And I'm just gently holding on to this. I'm not forcing myself into the stretch. I'm going to breathe in and kick again. Kick, 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 and just kicking with the inhalation and then relaxing with your exhalation. So you don't have to count seconds. You just breathe, kick as long as your inhalation is, and then exhale, relax it. And you'll notice you'll be able to start bringing your foot closer to your butt. And I'm really not using 100% strength on the kicking. I'm just kicking a little bit into that towel, going with the breath, exhaling and letting it relax. You could see it on the camera. You could see it on the screen. And you could probably feel it yourself. Let's do one more kick. Inhale. Kick it out. Exhale. Bring it a little closer if you can. Good. And then let that guy go. And we're going to relax it and bring it to the other side. So I'm going to let my towel go. And I'm going to go ahead and use my arm on this other side. I'm going to have you breathe. If you can, grab. If not, get your towel. Maneuver so that you have your towel. You're going to go ahead and relax your head down. Go ahead and take nice big breaths. Just enjoying the stretch for a second. Just holding, not kicking yet. Nice big breaths. And I want you to kick into that hand. Exhale it out. Relax it. Try it again. Inhale in. Kicking. Exhaling. One more time. Inhaling. Kicking. Exhaling. You know what? We're going to do one more on this side to make it even. Nice big breath. Kick. Inhale. And exhale. Let it go. So I'm not forcing myself into that stretch, but I'm just letting my leg relax so I can pull it further to my butt. So that was really nice, you guys. Relax your legs. Let's go ahead and push back up. Nice big breath in. Push back up to quad position, all fours. Good. Come to a neutral tabletop here. And let's do a quick rolling cat. So what we're going to do is come back to child's pose. And you can go wide knee or regular child's pose. And then I want you to roll up. So you're going to do child's. And then you're going to lift your back, lift your butt, keep your rounded upper back so that you come up into cat. And then you're going to do it again. So you're going to come back to child's pose. And I'm going to widen my knees out a little bit. You can too if you want. Child's pose. And then roll up. So you're pushing your palms into the mat. Roll up. Pick the hips up, but rolling so that back is nice and rounded on the top. You can roll forward as far as you want to, and then come back to child's pose. Let your head, chest sink down. Arms sink down towards the floor or mat. Let's do that 2 more times. Roll up. Rolling cat. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's just what I'm calling it. Roll back. Reach back, child's pose. Inhale, rolling cat all the way up. Rounded upper back. And then bring it back, child's pose, and really extend back. This time I want you to hold child's pose, so relaxing your head, chest, chin, arms. I want you to reach them out. Nice big breaths here. Maybe take 2 or 3 big inhales and exhales. And then let's walk our fingertips to the right. So we're going to do a little bit baby lat stretch here. Nice big breath. Maybe walking those left fingertips a little further than the right, or maybe stacking the hands up. So I have my left hand on top of my right hand. And relaxing the head down to the mat. Big breaths. So maybe you can play around here. You can actually roll your left shoulder towards the mat or roll your left armpit towards the mat. Get a little extra stretch there. And inhale, walk back to the middle. And then exhale, walking to the left side. Same thing here. So we're going to walk our fingertips a little bit further on that right hand. And then I'm going to stack mine tonight. So I'm going to stack my palms on top of each other. And then lower my head, chest, chin. And I'm just relaxing down. And I'm going to try and press that right armpit towards the mat a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of roll my armpit towards the mat, kind of putting my weight into that right armpit. So it's really getting a stretch on that lat. Breathing and exhaling, rolling the armpit or pushing towards the mat with the armpit. And then relaxing it back. Inhale, come back to the center of the mat. Exhale, walk back up to quad position, all fours. Okay, so now we're going to take what I call a quad side body kickback stretch. So we're going to stay in the all fours position, but I want you to take that right leg, kind of bring it off the mat, push it back, and then I'm going to have you actually bring it over your left foot, over your left leg, and cross it over. So you're going to kind of reach it to the other side. And then I'm going to push my left hip to the left a little bit. Let it sink to the left. And I'm going to feel that nice stretch on my left hip. Breathing in and out. Trying to keep my head neutral, head back. And then I'm going to do the same thing, keeping my right foot where it's at. I'm going to kind of sink back a little bit. Hips towards my heel. Again, I'm getting a little more stretch on that left hip. And then I'm going to walk my right fingertips in front. Inhale. Exhale, sink down towards the floor with your chest, chin. Reach that right fingertip forward. Relaxing everything down, keeping that right foot back. And I'm kind of pushing my left hip to the left. Good. And then we're coming up, walking all the way up to your hands. Inhale, exhale. And then come back to center with your right foot and then switch sides. So I'm going to take my left leg, pop it out there, cross it over my right. And I'm just going to kind of play around with my space here, or my hips. I'm going to push my right hip to the right. Left lat, walking fingertip by fingertip up towards the top of the mat. And then resting my head, chest, and chin towards the mat. And I'm almost sitting my hips back a little bit, kind of like child's pose. But I'm keeping that left foot across. And good. I'm walking back up. Hands on the mat. And then coming back over with my leg. Putting my knee back down. Coming to quad position. And then one more, just reach back, regular child's pose. Whew. Relax down to the mat. And come up to all fours. We're going to go into a downward facing dog. So pushing up onto your toes, plank position, and then reach the hips up towards the ceiling. Let those heels sink down. And we're going to go right into downward dog, where we're pushing our feet down towards the floor. And trying to relax your head and chest down through the arms. And I'm just going to pedal that dog out. Nice and easy, bending and extending. Just do what feels good here to you. Good. And then we are going to come back to plank. And then bending the knees down towards the floor, come to a kneeling position. I'm going to walk myself back up. So I'm going to take hero's pose. So hero's pose is just sitting your hips back to your heels. And we're going to sit and do our wrists. So I really think we need a little bit more practice for our wrists sometimes. So I was feeling a little tight in my forearms this week. I'm going to have you guys reach out in front of you, stay in hero's pose. And you can see I'm a little tilted here. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm not so tilted. I'm going to actually squeeze on my abs a little bit and straighten out my pelvis. So I'm not so tilted. I tend to do that a lot, as do a lot of us. So I'm just going to straighten out my low back and make sure I'm not arching. Wrists, I'm going to just squeeze my fists and just squeeze them a little tight. And then we're going to just do circles with those wrists. So we love this one. This one's so good for the forearms. And if you have any kind of troubles with wrists or forearms or elbows, really important to stretch out your forearms and hands. So we're just going to just roll in the one direction and then stop, reverse it. All the while we're taking a nice big breaths. Ooh. And I might have my fists tight, but I'm not squeezing them like death grip. I'm just squeezing them so that I feel that stretch. Then I'm just going to briefly straighten out my palms. I'm going to take my right hand, just pulling back a little bit on those left fingertips. Just a gentle warm up here. And then flip the left hand and just gently press on the back of that hand. And then just, like I said, this is just a little warm up. So flip back, fingers back, wrists back, and then same thing on the right side. So left hand is going to help the right fingers back, and then down on the back of the hand. Good. Then one more time. Like I said, just warming up this movement. Exhale, press down. Good. And then make fists again. And a little bit of a squeeze and roll. And roll. And roll. And then reverse it. Roll. And roll. And try to make as big circles as you can with your fists without moving your shoulders, just your hands and your wrists. And then we're going to come back to all fours and we're going to practice the wrist stretching. So I'm going to have you either take your towel, or I like to just roll up my mat just to give myself a little bit of a lift on the wrists, because my hands and my wrists are pretty tight. So if you can do this and you elevate your palms, you will feel a little bit stress taken off of the hand. So I like to roll that up. And then what we're going to do is just gentle rocking for these wrists. So I'm going to start with my fingers forward, rock forward, and exhale, rock back. Let's inhale, exhale, rock forward. Just putting most of your weight forward into the hand, and then rock back. And you just go as far forward as you can handle. This can be really pretty tight on most people, and you don't know it. So just take your time and be gentle on yourself. Exhale forward. And bring it back. And then what we're going to do is go out to the side. So for this one, I'm going to put my hands even so my palms are not elevated. And I'm just going to go side to side on this one. So my fingertips are now pointing out, right and left. And I'm just going to go side to side. Nice big breaths. And then we're going to do a flip-flop hand. So one hand is going to come back to center. One hand is going to go forward on that elevated mat. And the other hand is going to go backwards, fingers facing me. And I'm just going to gently rock back and forth doing it that way. Nice big breaths. Again, it doesn't really matter where the inhale or exhale is on this one. Just gently rocking. 3 or 4 breaths there, and then come back to center, and we're going to flip sides. So we're going to go forward fingers, backwards fingers, rocking for about 4 breaths or so. Inhale, exhale. Check your fingers out. Make sure you're spreading your fingers out a little bit and making sure that you're not gripping the floor. Try to make sure those fingers are kind of straight and you're not gripping anywhere. Death gripping the floor. Good. Come back to neutral. And then we're going to go ahead and just do the opposite. So I'm going to take my left hand first, flip my hand over. So my back of my hand is on the mat. I'm going to keep my right hand where it is, and I'm just going to gently rock back. And then forward. Nice big breath back. Again, this can be a lot for everybody, so just make sure you're just being gentle and take your time. Go slow. 3 or 4 rocks back there, and then relax that. Bring that back on the mat, and then switch sides. Right palm facing up. Back of the hand on the floor. Ooh, this one's tighter on me. Nice big breaths. Exhale back. Nice big breaths. Exhale back. Nice big breath. Exhale back. And then relaxing after you do about 4 or 5 of those. And then I want you to take your hand up, reach your hips back to your heels, walk it back, walk it back, walk it back, and just do a couple of those wrist rolls again. So palms in a fist, fingers in a fist, and roll it out, roll it out, roll it out. Ooh, that needed to be done. Wrists are tight. Roll the other way. Good job, you guys. Alrighty, so we're gonna take downward dog again. I want to do a quick hip opener, and then we're gonna come back for our frog stretch. So you guys just follow me. Come on into all fours again, up to plank. Nice big breath in. Exhale, lift the hips, drop the heels, downward dog. Up towards our right hands. And then I want to lower our left knee down to the mat. Keep your hands where they are, but relax the back foot, up left foot. And I want you to just take your hips and just do a little bit of rocking here. So dropping the hips towards the mat, the hip bones toward the mat. And then rock back, relax. And then rock forward. Pushing that hip bone, that left hip bone towards the mat. And then relaxing it forward. Good. And then we're going to walk ourselves up to a kneeling position. So hips back, walk your hands up, take the pressure off those hands and come up all the way to kneeling. And what I want you to do here is hands on our low back. I want you to feel yourself squeeze your glute. So I'm going to stay in a nice tall position. Hands are just stacked behind my back like that, but I'll be able to feel that I'm not arching, number one, and that I'm also squeezing my left butt cheek. So I want you guys to take a pinch on that left butt cheek. So I want you guys to take a pinch on that left butt cheek. Inhale, nice and big, and then exhale, gently pushing your whole body forward. So you're going to feel a really nice hip flexor, quad stretch all up in that hip area. So we're just going to, you can either rock back and forth, or you can hold it. Nice big breaths in and out. But make sure that you're feeling that your back is staying flat and you're not overarching here. That's not what we want to do. We want to keep our spine nice and straight. And I'm just moving my whole body forward. Again, you can just keep rocking. Or maybe once you get to a point that feels extra sticky, maybe you want to squeeze that glute and just breathe through it. Good. And then I want to relax. Come back up to a tall position. Walk your foot back maybe. Drop your hands down. And then we're going to do a little bit more of an inside groin adductor stretch. So we're going to bring our right foot out at an angle a little bit. So I hope you guys can see that. Let me move myself over a little bit. So I'm in more of an inline position here. Now I'm going to bring my right foot out to the right at an angle a little bit. Okay, maybe I should face the camera. So I'll show you both angles. This one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to squeeze my back butt cheek, but I'm going to push to the right a little bit. So now I'm getting a little more inside of the hip, inside of the groin area, stretching. And I'm just going to rock on this one a little bit. Good. Maybe 4 or 5 big breaths. And I'm going to turn so you guys can see the angle. But I think you probably have the idea. My foot's going out instead of being in front like we were before, out to the right at an angle, and I'm just going to push to the right here. Well, still squeezing that left butt cheek. And then I'm going to bring it back to neutral. And we're going to switch sides. So same thing on the other side. I'm going to stay in this position so you guys can see. I'm going to come up to my plank. Nice big breath. Let's go back into down dog for another down dog. Pedal it out. Nice big breaths in and out here. I'm a big fan of pedaling or walking my dog. My calves like it. Good. And then after a couple pedals, let's go ahead, come back, rolling back to plank, and then bringing your left foot up next to your hands. And we're going to lower that back knee down, that right knee, and then come up to a kneeling position here. And you can rock with your hands on the ground like we did on the other side too. Let's not forget that. So we're going to keep our hands on the ground for a couple seconds, breathing and kind of pushing that hip bone towards the mat, and then coming back and rolling back, breathing and coming back. There we go. And then after your next inhale, exhale, we're going to come up to kneeling, and we'll do the half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So I'm a little bit more in line here. There we go. And I'm going to put my hands back on my back. I'm going to squeeze my back glute. Nice big breath in. And I'm pushing forward, remembering not to arch my back, but using my whole torso, my whole hip complex to push forward. Breathing here. And again, if you want to rock, sometimes that feels good. Nice, gentle, slow rock back and forth. Four or five breaths there. And every time you squeeze that glute, you're going to feel it a little bit more. So make sure you're squeezing that right glute. And then let's take our left foot, bring it back to neutral, bring it out to the side at an angle. And we're going to do the same thing, squeezing that glute, pushing over to your left side this time. And like I said, you're going to feel it more on the inside of that leg, adductor, groin area. It feels like that needs to be stretched. Take your time. This is like a very vulnerable area that's pretty tight on most people. So take your time and breathe. You can rock or you can stay in it. Nice big breaths. Try to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Then bring yourself back up to neutral. Okay, and then we're going to actually do the tactical frog. So we're going to come back down to quads. And I like to roll my mat up on this one. So what we're going to do, because I just like a little extra padding for my knees. So you can do the same. Just make sure you have some extra kind of pad for your knees if you have a harder floor, just like I do. So I'm rolling that in a couple times. I actually have two mats. Sad knees. Very sensitive knees, I guess. I don't know. This floor is very hard. All fours, but we're going to widen out your feet. So this stretch is for the inside of the legs as well. We don't spend a lot of time doing the inside, so I think the adductors need a little love. So I'm going to get my knees really just as wide as we feel comfortable. We can get them wider later, but bring them wide, and then we're going to externally rotate our feet. So your feet are out like a little froggy. Now, I realize this is like the most awkward looking stretch in the world, but don't worry, nobody's watching you. You guys are watching me, so just don't mind me. But it is a really good stretch. So we're going to just rock a little bit in this position. Okay? Try to keep your feet relaxed. And you're going to take your time. Because, again, this is another vulnerable area where we're stretching. It can hold fear and anxiety. The insides of your legs, the adductors, are a really big area. The fascia really likes to hold tight when you are stressed out, or you're fearful, or you're anxious. So just be gentle with this area. And I'm just rocking my hips back to my heels. Breathing out, exhaling back, and then coming forward. And then if you feel you need to move your knees out wider, or you would like to come in less wide, go ahead and do that. Breathing out on the rock back. And inhaling on the way in. And if you would like to bring your elbows down, if you feel like you can get a little deeper by coming down to your elbows, that's another good way to get a little bit lower into that stretch. Nice big breaths. Taking our time here. And then I want to do a little mobility exercise while we're here. So you can, if you're pretty tight on this stretch, you may want to stay on your hands. If not, you can certainly stay on your elbows. But we're going to do a little internal rotation for the hips. So we're going to rock forward. As we rock forward, we're going to lift our foot off the ground and rotate our leg in. And then we're going to drop back, drop the hips back. Exhale. Do a couple more times. Right side up. Exhale, rock back. Left side up. Exhale, rock back. One more each side. Right side, rotate. Exhale, rock back. And rotate. Exhale, rock back. Draw. Woo-wee. That was so nice. So we're just going to kind of combat that just by bringing your knees bent and back and do a little child's pose, traditional child's pose. Woo! Going back to all fours. Very nice, you guys. And we are going to do a little T-spine work next. So, actually, you know what? Let's do a little squat work real quick. We're going to do down dog again, and then we'll do T-spine here towards the end. I'm just going to fix my mat up. So you're going to go back to your regular mat if you have yours rolled up. Let's go back to our down dog position. So plank it out, down dog it out. Nice big breaths. And then from here, I want you guys to bend your knees, but don't lower the knees all the way to the ground. I'm going to have you inhale and then exhale. Walk your hands towards your feet. And as you walk your hands to your feet, I want you to try and squat down. So even if you have your heels up, that's okay. My heels are up off the ground because my feet are pretty narrow. I'm going to turn my toes out a little bit, keeping my hands on the ground. And I'm just going to rock back and forth. So my hands are on the ground still. If you guys want to elevate yourself, or maybe you need your hands on a block, or roll up your towel, put your hands on your towel. Sometimes it'll take some pressure off. But we're just kind of feeling out our squat here. Like I said, we're not squatting like our usual workout squats. This is like a yogi squat. So I want you to come up on your toes, shift over to the left, let your left heel come up off the ground, and then switch sides. Shift over to your right side, let your right heel come all the way up. And just kind of feeling that out, shifting back and forth. Play with it. Let's see how it feels. This is really good for the feet. Okay, and then after you get a couple rocks back and forth like that, let's bring our feet a little wider and do a little yogi squat. Okay, so we're going to sit back. I'm going to bring my feet wide and then sit back so I'm nice and low. If this is hard for you to do, that's okay. Maybe you want to come up a little higher and do a squat where you're up higher, you're pushing your forearms into your elbows, forearms into your knees. But if you can drop down, drop your hips in between your knees. And again, we're just going to kind of shift the weight onto the left toes, shift them onto the right toes, back and forth. Just really getting into those hips today. And then from there, I want you to put your hands back down on the floor, and I want you to straighten those legs out. So we're just going to, nice and gentle, bring the feet to the end of the mat. Can you guys see me? Let me walk up. Oops, sorry, I'm out of the frame. And then I want you guys to just kind of hang down, take a nice big breath. Tailbone is up towards the sky, legs are straight, but I want you to now inhale, exhale, and bend down. You might have to widen your feet out back to that squat. So I want you to just come on, switching between squat and then forward fold. So tailbone up, straighten those legs, keep your hands down towards the mat. And then forward squat, drop the hips, drop the butt, toes go out, maybe lift your chest, maybe do a little prayer pose here, push your knees out with your elbows, and then hands back down, tailbone up, straighten those legs, let your head, chest fall between your legs or just look under your legs. And one more squat here. Let's bend, toes go out, drop the butt, push the knees out, say a prayer, say an om, set your intention, send good vibes out to the universe, hands back down to the floor, straighten out those legs, and I want you to straighten and reach all the way to the ceiling. So stand all the way up. Now we got to kind of unravel now. Reach up, full body stretch. Exhale, drop those arms, stay standing, hands behind your back. Stack them if you can. If not, just put them on your hips. And then I want you to just do a little back extension. So leaning back as far as you can, looking up to the ceiling. And then come back to neutral. And then release your hands. And then we're going to reach down for the floor again. Walk out, downward facing dog, plank position. And then we're going to lower ourselves back down to the floor. You can lower down full body, or you can just bend your knees and put your knees on the ground. A little bit of a little extension just to get a little bit more extension here. So press up if you can, or come into that Sphinx pose on your elbows. Breathe out. And then come all the way down, and I want to roll to our sides. So I'm going to roll over to my left side here. Actually, I just want to make sure you guys can see me. My screen is timing out here. Let's see. Okay. Everybody still with me? Okay. So our last little stretch here, or last maybe couple stretches, is going to be a T-spine stretch. So I want you to come, knees can be bent on this one, to your side. Just make sure you're laying on your shoulder. And we're going to do a little, what we call a rib pull. I'm going to actually fold up my towel. So I'm going to put my head on my towel for a little pillow and to keep my neck neutral. You can do the same. And a rib pull is really just opening yourself up to the ceiling, opening your chest towards the ceiling and getting a good T-spine mobility. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm just going to put that on my thigh, on my knees. So I'm going to keep my knees stacked with my hand. I'm going to take my right hand and just gently grabbing the bottom of my ribs, okay? Or maybe you can do it on the top rib. And I'm not like cranking on my ribs, but I'm just gently holding. And I'm going to take a nice big breath and then actually exhaling and peeling yourself open. This is called a rib pull. So I'm allowing my hand to gently just put weight down and pull the ribs towards the right side. And every time you feel a little resistance, that's like where your range of motion will end. Take another big breath. Nice big breath in. Exhale. Use the weight. Use a little bit of your arm to gently pull over. And again, nice big breath. Exhale. And with every breath, you should feel like you're able to open up a little bit more. Just make sure your low back isn't moving. So I'm keeping my knees stacked. I'm keeping my hand on my knees with my left hand. Let's do a couple more of these. Big breath in. Exhale, open. Nice big breath. Inhale, exhale. And one more. Nice. And then let's take our right arm and just reach it around. So to the right, and over our head. And just reach above your head while you're in this position. It's so nice for the whole spiral line. And then reach back over and we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to flip-flop so I'm facing the camera. But you guys can literally just roll over to your right side. And we're going to do the same thing while laying on the right shoulder and hip. Okay, so just make sure again in the beginning that your arms, you're stacked on top of your right shoulder. And we're going to stack up our knees on the right side. I'm going to take my right hand, place it on my knees. I'm going to find my ribs, and then I'm just going to take a nice big breath in. Make sure your neck is comfortable. Exhale. Gently pull over to the left. And do it again. Nice big breath. Gently turn and open to the ceiling. Nice big breath in. Exhale. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. Pull. And again, I'm not really yanking on my ribs or anything like that. I'm just using the weight of my arm to gently pull it. And again, one more time. Breathing. And relaxing. And then releasing that left hand from the ribs, bringing it up and around and over your head. Reach above that head. Nice big breaths. Couple breaths there. And bring that arm all the way around. And use your hand to just gently push yourself into a seated position. Very nice, guys. Let's come up to crisscross applesauce. Woo, I got stretch hair. Don't care. Nice. Okay, guys, sit up nice and tall on your sits bones, on your booty. Get into a comfortable position, and we're going to just end up here, just doing a couple neck stretches, and then we're going to do that 4, 7, 8 breath again one more time. Okay, so let's take our butterfly position. Hands kind of cross each other. It looks like a butterfly, and we're going to gently put it just over the collarbone, right where your pecs are, and let the weight of your hands just weigh down or pull that skin down a little bit. And then what we're going to do is breathe in and exhale. Let the chin come up to the ceiling. Release the head back. Make sure you're breathing here. You can look to the left. You can look to the right. Just play around and see where it feels tight, but just remember to keep breathing. Maybe you want to go a little bit more ear to shoulder. You can roll your head in like a semicircle if that feels good. Play around, be gentle. And then gently lift your head, bring it back to center. We're going to do a little bit of an opposite stretch. So we're going to take our left hand. You can put it underneath your butt, or you can just gently put it on the ground. I like to kind of sit on it to take that arm out of the equation, kind of give you a little traction for that side. And then I'm going to take my right hand, gently put that over my head, onto the back of my skull with my fingertips. I'm just going to tilt and kind of pull just gently on the back of my head. Tilt down. Nice big breaths. You can look under your armpit. Breathe big. You can look to the side. Maybe you look over to that left side. And you'll feel a little bit more in a different spot. Still breathing. Still being gentle on yourself. And then just very slowly take the weight off of that head. Pick it up nice and slow. And then do the other side. So right hand underneath the bit. And then left hand comes onto the head. Just gently drape it over the head. A little bit of a grab with the fingertips on the back of the skull. And gently let your head drop. I'm not yanking on my head. I'm just letting the weight of my arm kind of gently draw it down. And again, nice big breaths. I'm looking under my armpit. And I'm going to look to my right, over to my right side. And then gently take the weight from that head off. So take that arm off. Gently come back to neutral. And then just shake it out. So we're just going to look to the left. Look to the right. Come back to center. Look up. Look down. Just loosening it up. And then bring it back to center. And let's go ahead. Take our hands out from underneath us. You can do prayer position. You can do hands on your knees. You can put your hands on your belly if you want to feel that expansion of your diaphragm. But let's go ahead and do that 4, 7, 8 breath for 4 cycles for our last little thing. So I'll count it out loud. Let's everybody empty. And then start that inhale through the nose. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And breathe. That was an excellent class, you guys. I'm so happy. If you're watching this live or if you are watching this recorded, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you're very rested and feeling flexible and stretched out. I'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye, guys.